Okay, Cassidy, welcome to the Siobhan Lou Show. I'm so excited to have you on. We met at our Breathwork course, and then you introduced me to cacao, and this whole podcast is about both. So you are the perfect guest. And we're both drinking our cacao right now, although mine's is full and yours is mud water. But we'll talk about it because I feel like people that are going to listen will have no idea what we're talking about right now, which is totally cool. That's why we're here. Do you want to tell us like a little bit about you, your healing magic? Let's go for it.
Sure. So I love to do all things with cacao, and so I'm also a breathwork facilitator, and I do intuitive coaching, and everything sort of started because I'm a nurse. And there was a time in my life where I really gravitated to that, and I had this epiphany, and I've always been like a very compassionate caregiver kind of person, and it just sort of clicked. And so I went. There's actually more depth to that, really. My grandpa was really, really sick, and I was driving like 3 hours at a time every day to go visit him. And in and amongst like being the go-between between the doctors and the nurses, that's when I had my epiphany. So it was, I registered for nursing school, and then a week later he passed. So during that time, he was really excited, and he would tell people, my granddaughter is going to be a nurse. She's going to be a healer. She's a nurse. And he would say things like that, right? So it's all pretty divine and synchronistic. And as it turns out, I love nursing, but it just wasn't it. Yeah. Like, I knew there was something more. I knew that was very surface level. I didn't like just tending to wounds, right? There is a reason why those wounds are existing in the first place.
Yes.
And it was in meeting Bo, my husband. He sort of put everything that I was feeling into words, and he would remind me, shortly after we had our twins, he would remind me, you don't have to go back to nursing if you don't want to. And I was like, what are you talking about? That's my thing. That's what I do. That's my career. What I've invested in. Yeah. And, no, he just sort of knew. And it was at that point that he, through a friend, had introduced me to cacao. And it really resonated with me. And so we would facilitate, like couples, mini ceremonies. We just made them up, whatever was intuitively flowing.
Yeah.
And we loved it. And so it's so interesting, like, we felt her, the cacao spirit, Mama Cacao, as this very loving, nurturing, like, gratitude medicine. Yeah. And so that's how we used her, right? And as this mirror and reminder of all of those things. And then we probably made love.
As you do. Of course.
So that was, a perk. And then I started feeling her calls stronger and stronger. And I spent some time in Bali for yoga teacher training at one point, and we had cacao ceremony there. And I just was like, I think everyone in that circle in particular was a little bit skeptical. Some people had never really experienced plant medicine, and some people, were like, oh, it's just chocolate, what could happen? And that night, I don't know, there was like a side of me that came through that was just totally different. And in part because the woman who was facilitating the circle was just so beautiful and so free. And she was like the mirror that I needed in that moment. And she was also a mother. And I was a young mother at that point. I'm still a young mother. Our twins are only 3, but at that point in Bali, I think our babies were like 15 months or 16 months old. Anywho, so I came home, and it just kind of kept coming up. People would ask, will you facilitate cacao ceremony for us for this event? And it just made sense, and it felt so natural. And I was so excited about it. And then I started feeling this call to go to Guatemala, of all places. And what was interesting about that is that, so this particular brand offering or name offering, right, of cacao that resonates with me so deeply right now today is Keith's Cacao.
Yes.
And I had not tried Keith's Cacao ever.
Really?
Yeah, I had not.
Wow. Before you went there?
Yeah, no.
Wow. Tell us more.
And
Wow.
that was my secret. I felt like a phony, going there to sit with him, and not having had tried it, right? And but we had a very close friend who also nannied for our children, and she was from Guatemala, and she would tell me for like a year, there's this magic lake in Guatemala, and you have to go there. You have to go there. I see you there. Year later, right? I'm feeling like I need to go to Guatemala. I look up online, what's going on in Guatemala. I find Lake Atitlan. I find, Keith's Cacao is having an event, and a week, immersion into cacao and trekking in the rainforest and sitting with Keith, and I felt, no, this is it. And so, yeah, I showed up, and because I love cacao so much, and because I was just listening to that message drop through. And it was the most profound experience of my life. And now I totally understand her in so many different ways. And it's like, good Lord, Siobhan, how I just, this is why when I would listen to your coffee chats, I was like, this is amazing. I love listening to you talk. I love listening to Tom talk, but put some cacao in there,
and we did it.
Yeah.
We did it. So for people that are listening and have no idea what we're talking about, and can you explain like really briefly what cacao is? Because you explained it so beautifully.
Sure. So cacao is chocolate in its purest form, right? So chocolate is a made-up word. It's a word, I don't even know what chocolate is. It doesn't come from anything, but cacao is what it is sourced from. And cacao is this beautiful Theobroma cacao are these trees, and they have these large pods, and they're like multicolored, and inside are the beans. And it's the beans, right, that we get like cacao nibs. This is what we're most familiar with, that health food places sprinkle on top. So cacao is a superfood. It's highest source of antioxidants and all kinds of good stuff. And then it's also plant medicine, and it's a plant medicine because it has psychoactive components to it. So all plant medicines are psychoactive. Not all plant medicines are hallucinogens, right? Psilocybin mushroom, hallucinogen, ayahuasca, hallucinogen. Cacao is not. The theobromine in cacao acts as this heart-opening agent. This is why you feel that, right, out of the head. Coffee is a central nervous system stimulant, and cacao is heart. It just brings you to this place of presence and appreciation and deeper sense of feeling, right? I'm out of my head, which I tend to be, trying to keep up with my kids, first of all, and think what's the next step that I got to do. I also, have my own healing practice, and I'm a wife, and I'm a daughter, and I'm over here, and over there. And so Mama Cacao's like, shh, sweet girl, it's okay. Here's what's most important right now. And I almost like want to giggle because I have that actual conversation with her.
And that's the other thing, you kind of form like a relationship with her. And can I just say, I've not had coffee since I started working with cacao. And it's the longest I've ever gone since I started. I was like, I need to tell Cassidy on the show that because of her, I've not done it. And, I said, I kind of wrote a blog, which will probably be released by the time this show's out, about how she gives you like little nudges. So when we did the course together for breathwork, everyone was talking about cacao. Have you done breathwork with cacao? And talking about cacao. That's all I heard. That was all I heard.
What?
Yeah, that was it when I was on the course. And that's it stuck with me. And then when you were messaging me about it, and I saw it on your your social pages, and then we were kind of chatting, and you were just like, you have to try it. And I was like, I'm going with this. Like, I'm feeling called to it. I was so open to it. And then obviously ordered it, and I mean, I did the first one, which was the ceremonial dose, and I cried and cried and cried and cried and cried. And I'm like, wait a minute, I do breath work. I shouldn't still be crying and crying. And yeah, it was like wonderful, crazy, amazing, heart-opening experience. And Nicole described it yesterday, we'll give her full credit for these words, as grounded euphoria. And I love that.
Well,
Yeah.
oh
So
my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, give her full credit for those words, but
Mhm.
it's such a really good way to explain it, and comparing it to like coffee. I crashed, I get all my work done and crash, and cacao, she's in me till like forever. Like all day, all night. I'm like, I just, yeah, feel it. Yeah, it's really it's a really special medicine, and I can refer to it as a plant medicine. That's how I see it. Like, I feel like when you say that, you're kind of respecting where it came from. Yeah. And so does Bo drink it with you? Like, is it a daily practice, or?
So we drink cacao together every now and again, but we're sort of on different schedules right now. So we're both waking up really early so we can have like an hour and a half before the kids wake up. So we probably wake up he wakes up about 4:30 in the morning, and I wake up about 5:30, depending on the day. So he drinks his cacao first thing, I drink my cacao first thing, but we're not together when we do. And it's been, I don't know, over 6 months straight of having cacao almost every single day. And I feel like I just get these intuitive, right, sensations of today, I'm just having a spirit dose. Like, you can call in a spirit, she's a spirit plant, right? She's a multidimensional being, without actually making a cup. And I think that's the point, right? I don't think the point is to drink her, consume her, right, in physical form every single day for the rest of your life. If you do, that's wonderful. No judgment there. I don't see myself stopping anytime soon either. But that's right, something physical. The physical aspect of it is not the point. The point is like this remembrance journey of who you already are. That's what she is for me, right? And Keith Wilson has this like beautiful quote, and I'm gonna mess it up, but it's something like, "How walks you to the door, or brings you to the door, but doesn't push you through it." Right? The door of whatever you need to work on. And I find that to be so true. Yeah, just like the most nurturing, compassionate mother.
Yeah, 100%. So when you went to meet Keith, what was the difference in the cacao experience? Like, so when you had Keith's cacao compared to, I'm not sure what other cacao you were consuming, but what was the difference when you had it?
Well, it's hard to put like a sensation into words.
Yeah.
I just, honestly, the only word that comes through is just freaking magic.
Yeah.
It's so potent. It's real. That the energetic vibration of this ceremonial grade cacao paste is just beautiful and full. And there's nothing like over processed about it. There's nothing that's been lost. It just feels totally in integrity with that spirit. And I know that Keith, truly values it. Not to say that other people don't, right? Because I love staying with all types of cacaos. I'm constantly, reaching out and asking friends if I can swap with them so I can try, because I want to try all of the cacao. And I see them, as like friends, right? I have different friends for a reason.
Yeah.
And sometimes I like to sit with Heartblood, and sometimes I like to sit with Firefly, I started with Firefly, and I liked it because it was convenient and it was in those little discs. And then I just, it just didn't have what I needed, right? It didn't have that same type of potency for me, not to speak ill of it, because again, I sit with it sometimes for different reasons.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I love it. It is. It's pure magic. And I've kind of not said it to like my community yet. I'm so excited to. I think I'm going to be actually doing it today, like sharing with them, and now that I can kind of hold space for them and invite in if they're called to it. But it's just magic, and Tom has seen like the difference in me. And one morning it was just so funny. We woke up and he's like, because he normally makes his coffee when I make my cacao. And he's like, can you make me some of that cacao stuff? I'm like, really? I would love to. And immediately he's like, I just want to go like train and move. And he was very like full of energy, but like loving energy. It was really like a lovely radiance. Whereas, yeah, with coffee, it's just like, okay, I'm just going to like get my work done because I'm feeling the coffee. But with cacao, it's like, I feel your magic and I'm ready and let's go together, whatever you need to give me today. For
Yes,
sure.
absolutely.
So did you discover breathwork before cacao or cacao before breathwork?
Cacao before breathwork,
Okay,
actually.
wow.
And so so it was just like cacao and yoga for a while for me. And now that when you brought up that people were talking about it in our breathwork training, like, well, who? Well, Katie, I remember Katie was talking about it, Catherine.
Yeah.
And she was heading to Guatemala. I'm remembering now, and I was mentioning that friend. I don't know. All these dots are just sort of connecting for me. Right?
It's all I heard, honestly. It's like all I heard. And I feel like that was her first nudge for me. Like, hey, I'm just going to put this into your awareness. But, you can do what you want with it. But I heard it from so many people. And I honestly think I heard more talking about cacao and Keys cacao than I did about breathwork. And I was like, maybe I'm here to discover cacao. You know how things happen. And I kind of rolled with it. But yeah, carry on. I think they were talking about it.
Yeah. So interesting. The way things play out and sprinkled in here and there, and then it all makes sense one day. But yeah, so cacao before breath work, but breath work too, that's my favorite healing modality and tool, and it's the most powerful thing I've ever experienced in regards to self-help or self-healing and accessing yourself. Like, you access these things yourself.
Yeah.
I to be honest, rarely practice breath work alone, like just me. I love to be guided. I just love that. I think that's like part of that, exchange process. And I just picture like an infinity symbol. And we didn't ever get to do breath work together when we were in Mexico. No.
But you hold so much space for me now. This is the class I tell everyone about. I'm like, I wake up at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning, and Sunday morning's like the only day we don't set an alarm, even though our dogs wake us up at like 5 a.m. anyway. But we never set like the alarm, and we have a sleep in. And then when like Cassidy has a class, I'm like, Tom, Sunday. And it's like, I make such, same with cacao, I make such like a big deal out of it. Like, I just absolutely love coming to your classes, and it's the only thing that will get me out of bed, like with an alarm on a Sunday morning. It's just so, it's beautiful. And how did you come across breathwork? I don't even know your story.
Yeah. So my husband has a friend who was his best friend in high school, and her younger sister was starting to facilitate breathwork circles and just do like women's circles. And I was pregnant and I was new to LA and I didn't really know anyone. And he would say, you should go hang out with Rachel and her sister Jenna. And her sister Jenna I think you would really like her. And I reached out and they invited me to one of their little women's circle. It was I think it was vision boarding.
Oh, lovely.
And there I'm, connecting with Jenna. Her name is Jenna Reese. I don't know if you know Jenna.
I feel like you've like tagged maybe something. Is she like your facilitator? Like you?
She was for a very long time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I've seen, but I will definitely check her out. Any facilitator, I'm like, I'll check them out.
Yeah, she's just beautiful and herself and funny and silly, and I just really appreciate that. Right? She doesn't put on a persona or anything. She's just her, and yeah. but anyway, so I ended up learning about breath work through Jenna, and she was doing beach breath work. And so one day I decided to drive out, and this was after having our babies. And I remember the class that she was holding at the beach was, oh God, what was it? I'll think of it. And calling yourself back.
Oh, wow.
I just had two, not one, but two babies. And so my whole identity was like, what?
Yeah.
I went in, you know, rainbows and butterflies, and then I came out in that very fragile new motherhood state, like you're being birthed, a new person, and thinking like, oh, I don't know, I've lost everything. I don't know who I am anymore. And so this particular theme, calling yourself back, really resonated with me. So I showed up, and it was that session, that day, in the middle of it, everyone's crying, music is blasting, we're laughing, we're crying, we're screaming, and I'm like, what the F is this? I love this. It gives me chills as I'm saying it right now. I love it, and I want to do this, and I want to facilitate this, and I just felt this is for me, and I'd never want to quit. This is the best thing I've ever experienced in my life. Who does this? And never heard of it. And so when I was done with that, I made, actually in that circle, the declaration that I was going to go to Bali and pursue yoga. And then, and that was that. I remember calling Bo and saying, like, you have no clue what I just experienced. And I can't wait for you. Your mind is going to be blown. Like, it's not even my mind blown. I'm like blown out of my whole entire body.
Yes.
Incredible. But the message that came through in that session was so perfect, because I went into it thinking, I'm so lost. I don't know who I am anymore. I've lost everything. I'm lost, and I'm not even me. Like, I can't even return home to me, even if I found my way again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
And in that circle, I realized that, oh, this isn't, you know, the theme is calling yourself back, but I'm never going to actually call myself back. And I needed to understand that. And I needed to go there to find myself, to realize it's okay. Everything's okay, right? And we are constantly, you know, shedding and shifting and transitioning and emerging. And I was really clinging. And Ram Dass talks about, you know, like, stop clinging.
Yeah.
I was really clinging to the past. And that's why I was experiencing so much discomfort and, you know, disease and disturbance in my peace. So yeah, that was a big one for me. And then I continued on with her, because she does like women's groups, you know, every, like, I don't know, 4 or 6 week journeys. You go a little deeper, and loved it.
I love it. And did you book the course that we met on? Did you book the course like that day or that week, or did you do like a few more sessions?
I think I participated maybe in 1 or 2 rounds of her series, and then I was leaving for Bali. I got back from Bali. 2 months later, I was leaving for San Francisco to do like a prenatal and postpartum training for yoga, because I love, you know, I'm a mom. I love the moms. And then when I got back from that, I remember telling Bo, you know, I really am feeling called to breath work. And I know that I've before, but I'm seeing now that there's something in New Mexico in, I think it was like early June, and I have to go to that too. And he was, you know, this was not easy. This was me leaving our babies, who were just now 1-ish, right? Then in New Mexico, I think they had turned 2 at that point. It was like the day after their 2nd birthday, I left.
Wow.
That was that. Anyway, so as a father, as a partner, you know, that's quite a lot. It's quite a lot of time away. But he was so supportive of everything. And again, I mean, he's been my messenger this whole entire time. So
I know.
You can't really be upset at yourself if you're giving your wife all of these hints about what she's supposed to be doing.
Just go. Wow. So amazing, so amazing. Yeah, we connected on that course, and it was really funny when I met you and you're like, I have twins, and I was like, I really want twins. I was
I
like, if
think at
I'm
that,
good. Mm?
I think at that point I was like, who wants twins? That's incredible.
Me, always say that. I'm like, if I'm gonna have kids, I'm gonna have twins or no kids. And it's really funny because when we got the dog, I was so desperate for like a second dog, and Tom's like, "Are you crazy?" And I'm like, "No, I love the chaos, and I feel like I can be really calm in the chaos. So that kind of brings
Wow.
me, and I can just they're. I mean, we have beagles. If you know anything about them, they're the craziest dogs ever, and they're just insane, but I love it. I feel like they bring joy and excitement and love to our household, and especially so we're still in stage 4 lockdown, and it's like if we didn't have them, where would our create, like where would we create the joy and the love and the fun and the routine and the purpose, because they bring all that to so it's just yeah, that's that's why I'm like, I just feel like I really want twins. So we'll see, I'll be reaching out to you a lot if it if it happens, for sure.
Oh my God, sister, I will fly. We will be there. We'll book an Airbnb or whatever we need to do, and we'll be there for you.
I love it. And you guys have a show as well. Can you tell me about your hippy dippy show? Which I love.
So, my husband Bo is a comedian, and this is how we met. When he was on tour doing comedy, and he has a really hilarious friend who he was podcasting with for a while, and when the three of us are together, we're so silly. Now, me, I have no background in comedy or improv or acting or any of that stuff. If anything, I'm totally, scared and shy and stage fright. But I love to laugh and I love to play. And if the cameras are not on, I'm probably the weirdest person in the room. Not when we're in a room with 44 people in New Mexico, right, that I never met. But I always imagine what it might be like to be on Big Brother. You ever seen that show, Big Brother?
Yes, yeah, I know. And I sometimes have that little fear. I'm like, my God, imagine like someone was watching me right now. I'm a crazy person. we're all a little crazy.
Yes, we are. And that's okay. So we just love to play and talk, and I'm in this, spiritual world and realm, and Bo's grown up, sort of in a spiritual world and realm through his mother, and our friend Jeffrey J loves all this stuff too, and grew up with a master manifester of a mom, and she sprinkled in all of this mindfulness. And we were just sitting around one day and we were like, we should be able to talk about this stuff, but have fun and be silly and make it light, because otherwise people aren't going to want to access it necessarily, right? Some will, and maybe most of others won't, because they think it's too woo-woo or intimidating. So that was sort of our why for the Hippy Dippy Show. And we talk about different things, different spiritual themes. Sometimes it's like a mindfulness type of talk. Sometimes it's based off of experience. We just like to play. I think it's really important. It's
so true.
important to have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I say that when I'm facilitating breath work, I'm like, laugh, like shimmy, shake your body, like have a little playful fun with you and your inner child. But I love what you said, how people think it's like woo-woo. And, this is why I started this kind of show, to get it out there to people. I think there's like this meme or this quote. It's like all your childhood friends like looking at you now, kind of laughing, like what happened to her, because you came from kind of doing your nursing. I was a sports coach and I absolutely loved my job. I was obsessed with it, but it just wasn't this thing. And I was probably not surrounding myself with people that were that I could really talk about. I love kind of being in touch with the universe and manifesting and vision boards and writing down my goals and my gratitudes. I was loving meditation And when I started going into it and meeting people like you and people that I'm trying to get on the show, I was like, wow, there's like so many people out there that are willing to hold your hand and support you and be on this journey with you. Whether the people around you think it's woo or not, you can really, you know, find your kind of community and your calling if you just kind of take that jump into it. So for me, people think breath work is really woo-woo. Do you have any like amazing stories or breakthroughs, or I know every session is a breakthrough for most people, that you can share to, like, you know, for the people that think it's woo-woo?
Yeah, totally. So this is one of my favorite breakthroughs.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's so interesting. I just don't find breathwork to be woo at all. But it is different. It is different, right? Yeah, it is just different. It's a different experience. It's kind of new. So when Bo was in acting, when he was more involved in acting, right? He's still an actor. I call it the year of tears in my life, because we were living together. It was like our first full year living together. I moved into his condo, and he would get roles, you know, like kissing scenes or anything else. And, you know, women are beautiful. And I could not begin to understand how, if you're acting like, and you're really in it, in that character, that you don't feel any feelings at all. That doesn't make any sense. And then like, let's just pretend that we're so in love and we spend so much time together, and then we are going to kiss each other on the screen. And but you know, don't worry about it, because there's a million people in the room and it's not even like that. But it looks really real. So I was really having a difficult time. I remember, you know, reaching out to my parents, and I don't have any brothers or sisters. And I was like, I don't think I could do this. I can't. And he would come home and I wouldn't want to kiss him. I didn't even want him to touch me. I would make him go brush his teeth. I was sick to my stomach and just crying and having panic attacks. This is, again, before I found breath work. And then shortly thereafter, during that time, was, you know, when I did find breathwork, and I brought that to one of our sessions. I think we were talking about choice, and in that particular session, I felt like I had no choice around this. I have no choice. I'm so wounded from my past experiences, and my most recent, before Bo, that relationship was really like emotionally abusive relationship. And multiple times I, you know, found like cheating type text messages, and I stayed. So I was pretty traumatized. Still working with that shadow. So as I'm, you know, breathing, this message comes through that I am not my body. I am not this body. I'm not this body. And I'm just breathing that. I'm not this body. I'm not this body. That sensation just kept like washing over me, like cleansing me of all of this like gross feelings and these walls, you know, that I put around to protect and preserve this body, this me that I was so stuck to. And then it, you know, as I'm laying at the end, you know, after you're done breathing, you're done purging, you're hardly breathing. Yeah. You're just hardly even, you don't even need to.
No, you're just like, there, I'm here. Yeah. I'm here.
Floating. I call it floating in that in-between, you know, in between your humanity and your divinity. And I guess that at that point, that's a little woo-woo, but that's me, right? Like I like to visualize that. So
yeah, for sure.
I was, you know, integrating. And I was wondering, you know, so what is the reason for this message, you know, that I'm not this body? And then it just like aha moment of, because Bo loves me, he's chosen me, I choose him, we are not this body. So if I'm not this body, then he's not this body. And our love surpasses this body. It's not confined inside of it. And if he kisses somebody and it's staged and it's part of you know, his acting career, then it's okay. Everything's okay. And going into that weekend, actually, he had a kissing scene coming up. So that was my breathwork session, probably on a Friday or a Saturday. And then come Sunday morning, he was leaving, kiss me, goodbye, go do the kissing scene. And
to the kissing scene, not to work. He was going to the kissing scene.
Exactly.
Not to his job. It was the kissing scene.
Where were you in that time, Siobhan?
Hey, the only reason I can say that is because your whole story is exactly the same as mine. Like the past partner that did like the cheating and caused the trauma, but still thankful for them anyway. So yeah, carry on.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So, usually that day I would be probably, acting out and pushing him away. I think I would had a nice breakfast with him. We were laughing, we were playing, everything was great. And he left and he was a little bit like, are you okay? I said, I'm great. Have a good time. I love you. Bye. And I carried on with my day. Didn't even think twice. I actually forgot. I don't know what I was doing, who I was with, but I just totally forgot he was doing that.
Yeah. He
called me at the end of the day to say he was on his way home. And it occurred to me that, oh yeah, he did a kissing scene today, but I didn't care. I swear I did not care. He got home and I, was like, hey, honey, how are you? And kissed him and was hugging him and tell me all about it. And he was really confused. He was really confused and laughing. Laughing is his defense mechanism. And he was like, what's going on? And I said, I'm good. I want to hear all about it. I promise you I'm so good. Please tell me about it. I'm so happy to see you. He said, it didn't happen. And I said, what? What do you mean it didn't happen? And he's like, what? It just didn't happen. We did that sort of scene, but there was no kissing. And then it was over. And I said, well, are you filming tomorrow, Tuesday, the next day? When are you going to do it? And he's like, we're not doing it. We're done. It's a wrap. It's over. And honest to God,
wow,
has never had a kissing scene since.
How it's like the tests and the tests and the tests. It's like, hey, until you deal with this shit, I'm just gonna kind of put it in your face until it's done. And that's happened a lot with me in breathwork too. And I say this to people: breathwork will show you something. If you don't do the work, you're either going to get the same breathwork session or you're going to get the tests all the time. You got to integrate what the breath is showing you. Thank you so much for sharing that, because it's, it's so, how can that be woo-woo? How can that be? Yeah, it's really crazy. And Bold practices, he does breathwork too, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah. He really loves Wim Hof. But he doesn't have the same type of experiences that he does when, I'm holding space for him. He loves that style, David Elliott's style of breathwork. And in that style, he experiences spirit visitations and beautiful things, right? And but in the Wim Hof style, it's just more he gets clarity of mind, definitely, and sometimes creative, I think, messages come through, but it's just different. It's shorter. It's just not the same. But yeah, he loves his breath work.
Yeah, it's so good. It's the same as Tom. He's, I hold space for him sometimes. And I try and get him to jump into your classes. And it's actually very different when you're breathing as a couple together. You notice the energy and the difference. And that's another thing that you can, do with a partner and a friend. The energy is different. And that's how it's, that's how you can feel it. If I breathe on my own, it's a very different experience. If I breathe with Tom, and it's just, it's really nice to kind of do it with your partner as well. You're kind of healing each other and, the kind of your relationship as you do it. And it's so special when couples breathe together as well. I really love it, for sure. Yeah. Cool. Is there anything else you want to share or talk about?
I feel pretty complete, and I just feel so honored, to sit with you and chat with you, and you're something very special.
Siobhan. You're
something very special. You're so radiant. you're one of my favorite people on this planet. I don't even get to see you.
I know.
Very often.
I'm gonna have to get you on the show like a lot so we can like catch up and chat and people can hear more about cacao and more about breath work and more about healing. Yeah.
Yeah, we would love to have you on Hippy Dippy. If you don't mind, I'm sure the boys, they will poke fun and make jokes and also really appreciate everything that you have to say. So you're gonna get the whole package.
Yeah, for sure. And I've been in a breathwork circle with both of them. I think the last class we did together, they were both there. So we can talk, we can make fun of breathwork a little bit and all our crazy, wacky, woo-woo experiences that we can share with everyone. And if people want to like reach out to you, where can they find you? Where do you kind of give out all your lovely messages and services?
Sure. So on Instagram, I am Soul Seen Healing. Soul, Seen. Yeah, that's my thing. I just treasure being seen, and I only aim to hold space for others and allow them to just come as they are and breathe, be, and let their soul be seen.
I love that. Love it. Yeah, so good. Well, thank you so much for all your little drops of magic and wisdom. And we'll definitely have you back on because, I mean, this is how we catch up now. So we might as well record our amazing chats so everyone else can hear. Yeah, thank you, Cassidy. And I will have you back on soon.
Thank you.